Hey everyone, so today I'll be unboxing the Arcade 1UP riser. I just got one of the stock risers from Arcade 1UP. I did buy some custom graphics that I'll be installing on it as well. So let's get to it. Okay, first we have to open the box. Alright, so I already have a NBA Jam cabinet, but this is going to be for my Space Invaders cabinet that I'm modding with a RetroPie. So we have a bag of screws. So let me unwrap this and we'll start building. Okay, so here it is, the Arcade 1UP riser. So I have a screw gun and I have a screwdriver. Okay, a couple bags of screws. So let's open the bag of dowels. First step, you need 2 RNs, 2 RPs, and it looks like 16 of these little dowels. So let me put those in there. So now the second step, you have RN and RP, and then we'll be using some of these big screws. Let's see, the RN are on the ends and the RP goes in between. So let's do that. Okay, so there's step 2. So now step 3, you add RO and RM. So we have RO here. We'll add it to this side. I already have the dowels put in. Get those lined up. Spin this around. Okay, and then you have to put in RM. So let's flip that around. Make sure you put the Arcade 1UP facing out. Line it up with the dowels. So we did that. Now we have to put the cross bracing on, which is RQ. They're both RQ. So we'll put those across. How do they go? Face down. Face down. I have 1 screw remaining. Did I miss a hole? I did. I missed a hole. I knew it. So there you go. That's the stock Arcade 1UP riser. Pretty easy to build. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes. And it also comes with these 4 screws. And these are the screws that you actually use to connect it to your Arcade 1UP. There you go. So let's take a second. And then I'll be back to put on the custom Space Invaders graphics with this riser. Alright, so be right back. Okay, so Now we're going to put the custom graphics on the riser. I'm starting with the side. And there's a few ways you can do this. I could mask this whole thing and then lay it on. That's kind of what you do with signs. I could do a hinge on one side and then you cut this in half, peel it off. But it's such a small area. That's for like dry methods, but it's such a small area, I'm going to do it with a wet method. I have some stuff here called Splash. It's a transfer solution concentrate. Gives you some time. It's not like when you stick it on. So you have time to line everything up, make sure it's perfect. Then I have a squeegee, and then since this is a digitally printed vinyl, I have this soft squeegee because I don't want to be too rough on it with this. You can scratch it up if you use one of these hard plastic squeegees, but you can use this type of squeegee. It's a felt squeegee. It's nice and soft and it won't take off the ink because this is just printed ink. So you don't want to do that. So that's what I have. And then the last thing I have is I have a brand new, very sharp X-Acto knife. You might have a little overhang here and there where you have to trim. You want to trim everything. And then on the front part, it has a notch, so you have to cut that out. So this is what I'll be using. The transfer concentrate, a felt squeegee, a plastic squeegee, an X-Acto knife. I have the Splash in a spray bottle, so it's easier to work with. And paper towels. I think the easiest thing to do is just kind of peel this back, stick aside, spray the surface, and then I can get it to where I want to get it. So let's try that. I haven't done this in years, but I think that will be the easiest way to go. So, and if you just put this on, as sticky as it is, it's really just going to stick right to the Arcade 1-Up riser. So what I'm going to do is give it just a nice little okay, so now you see here I can float it and I can line it up easily. Just kind of float it on. Alright, so that looks pretty good. And if it starts drying, you can always peel and soak, and then you can float it around again. Has to come over this way a little. Has to come. Now we have it on there. I'm going to take some paper towels because you're going to get water, and you want to make sure, and yeah, you're going to see water coming out. That's okay, we'll clean that up later. Yeah, you got water. You want to make sure you just go slow. Work the corner, work the side here. Right. The thing about doing it the wet method is it takes longer. Takes much longer to dry. But doing it this way, you really don't get too many air bubbles at all. And then you can really take your time. And there you go. That is the first side of the Space Invaders custom riser. Looks pretty good. Again, this is a toy for a basement. Doesn't have to look perfect. It has to look good, but doesn't have to look perfect. And I think that looks pretty good. We'll do any trimming we need to do once this is all dry. I don't want to trim it now when it's wet. We want to make sure it's really sticking well before we go and do any trimming. But yeah, there you have it. That's the first side. So let's do the side number 2. And you could use like a heating gun to speed up the drying if there's any problems. But we're not going to do that. All right. Okay, so here's the front. And the front will look like this. So we have the front here, and we also have a front of the entire cabinet that we'll be putting on as well to match, but for now we're just doing the front. So again, we want to fully saturate the cabinet. Don't be shy to pull off a corner. And you can even saturate the decal itself if you want to. So let's see here, let's put a little more on so it's easier to float. It looks pretty aligned, not too bad. I mean, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but it's going to be darn close. So you just kind of float that on. Take a towel, make sure you have your towel and work the water out. A lot of water is going to come out at first. And you can just work out from the middle. Make sure you work from the middle out. Same with this. You can work from the sides, but make sure you work way in the middle. This side looks pretty good. And we'll have to come in here and cut this, but like I said, I'm going to wait till that fully dries. Oh, a little water, you get a little pocket, so make sure you just keep going through it. You will have little pockets of water here and there. You don't want that. I see one bubble here. And yeah, this looks pretty good. I need to get some kind of towel to protect the underside while I do that. So let's let these dry for a little bit, then we'll do side 2 and 3. Okay, so let's do the last side. The last side is the same as the first side we did. So we'll continue to use the spray method, the wet method. Get it nice and sprayed on. Find the corner and peel. Alright, so let's make sure that it's nice and wet and it floats. So you can see I'm moving it back and forth. It does float a little. I'm going to add a little more. Okay. Alright. So I think everything's lined up. Everything looks good. And I'll start from the middle. And always put a paper towel underneath to catch all the fluid so we're not making a mess. Work from the middle out. Just work the corners. If you see anything, you can always use your finger to kind of help it along. Yeah, and just so you don't scratch it, I would use dabbing motions instead of dragging. And you're probably going to see a lot of different methods that people use on YouTube. There are so many different ways to do this, but this one's just the easiest. Like I said, I'm not working on a $30,000 car. I'm working on a $50 riser. So it's up to you. If you want to do it the other method, you can. And then you can take your, so there's a little edge right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's not the same height. So there's probably fluid in there. So you just want to take your paper towel, run it down there. Try and get the fluid out. Same on this side. Run it down. See, there's no fluid in there. And that'll give you a nice little tighter seam. If there's any edges sticking up, you can lay them down with your fingers. It looks good. So that is how you install the custom graphics on the riser. Let's flip this over. paper towel out of here. So this is the front that we did. Just want to take another look at it, see how it looks. Just want to get any possible air bubbles out. And like I said, we're gonna let it dry. There's a flap right here. We could do it now, but I want to let it dry for a little while. And once that dries, then I'll cut it out. You want to be really careful with that. I want to make sure it dries up, and then we'll start trimming things out. So here's the final product. We have the side of the riser. We have the front panel here. I went ahead and I cut out that notch. I added the yellow molding. Looks really good. And I added the graphics to the J panel. I haven't cut them out yet. I'll do that. And in my next video, I'll start building the Space Invaders cabinet. So stay tuned. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. I really appreciate you watching, and have a good day.